Bitcoin Ordinals banter. As you can see, we have a full panel tonight. Today, we're going to be discussing some upcoming Bitcoin Ordinal mints. Bitcoin broke 50K this week. Ordinals really pegged to Bitcoin. I mean, honestly, Bitcoin went up and Ordinals followed, so that was a great sign to see. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of mints tonight. We got the Flares mint happening on Gamma right after this show. Dutch auction format starting at 0.1, and we're going to talk more about that as we go on. And we got, of course, Eli Herf from Gamma to talk a little bit about that. We got floor forums happening tomorrow. This isn't a mint, but just some exciting news brought by Ninja Alerts is we did enter the phase 1 of the dojo. For more information on that, you can definitely join the Discord. But in short, just even part of it would be that we are rewarding the most contributing members to the dojo monthly. Top 5 contributors get 0.02 BTC. That's right. That's the cost of our pre-sale ninjas. And then the number 1 gets a ninja plus a 10x multiplier. To give you an idea for that 10x multiplier, we've already had spots for Farcana, Quantum Cats, and many others. And honestly, what we're talking about tonight, we also have spots for a lot of those projects as well. So super excited for that. For further updates, follow Ninja Alerts on Twitter, follow @TO. This is broadcasted on Twitter and on YouTube. Feel free to jump on chat. We can broadcast it at any given moment. With all that being said, absolutely full panel tonight. I'd like to give a warm welcome. Where do they go? But warm welcome to NFTs and to, I think, did we lose him? I don't know if I'm going to say his name. Did we lose him?
Yeah, you can call him by his name. His name's Henry.
Okay, we lost Henry. So yeah, we got the NFTs with Oni Force with us tonight. How are you doing, man?
We're doing great. We're in go mode. It's time. The fallen have arrived. So the PFP I'm rocking right now because of camera issues is one of our teasers that went out today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's just go and rip the Band-Aid off. What is Eli? Would you guys want to talk about Oni Force first and then do general, or what would you rather do?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
let's tear in NFTs a little bit.
And I like how the Oni Force's guy's name's NFTs, which he's doing really. Like he's got the PFP up, giving us a bit of a tease of what's to come. So yeah, go for it, Oni Force, and then I always pronounce it on one, not Oni. Anyway, so correct
me. It's Oni. I looked it up on the site before bringing them on.
We're literally
on the site, on the article, it said pronounced like, and it gave little parentheses. It said O, and then it had like the knee spelled out, like KNE.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, good to learn. You learn something new every day, even as an adult. Before we jump in, I just want to congratulate Chris. He looks like he's got a haircut. He's had a shave. He's looking good.
Dude, this is total accident, but I'd have to go into that later. It went from like a trim up to like, oh, this looks bad, to let me leave a mustache. All right, just rip the whole thing off. It was a tragic, but it's fun, man.
Looking fresh.
Thank you. It's been a great week. Yeah, let's dive into Oni Force. So I guess just before we actually like pull up the screen, because I'll actually kind of like guide through it a little bit. You want to give us a little bit of background? Let's say like I've not been in NFTs for 2 years. Oni Force was like 2021, 2022, and then got bought. What was it? 2023, and now catching people up to date is doing a Bitcoin Ordinal collection. Can you give us like a quick TLDR of like the story of Oni Force, the direction that they're heading now, and like everything going on with Bitcoin Ordinals?
Yeah. Originally the project minted shortly after like Bored Ape Yacht Club and was massively hyped. It was like the first anime project on the Ethereum blockchain. And I think the owners, the previous owners kind of really stumbled into a bigger thing than they realized and wanted to run it as kind of an art project. But a lot of the community members really kind of formed together when there was a lot of volatility, Henry being one of them who just jumped in. Welcome back, Henry. And he has emerged, our fearless leader, and the trials and tribulations through the crucible. And he has brought us back from the brink, and we've grown into a quite a formidable project in terms of what our mission is, what it looks like in our partnerships. And I think probably one of the really exciting things was when OFR acquired. And so, Henry, do you want to give them a little background on old-fashioned research, what they mean to the project, and like how we ended up where we are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Old-fashioned research is a VC that was started by Wei Zhu, the ex-CFO of Binance Labs and the ex-Binance Labs team. So they are incredibly experienced. They literally built Binance Labs and kind of became like one of the greatest or the greatest M&A group in crypto. They've, done a lot in the space to build up the space, and we're actually the first NFT project for them to acquire. We're their flagship project, and they also invested in Pudgy Penguins as well.
Heck yeah, man! Thank you for sharing. Sorry, I had my my mic on mute for that. I'm gonna actually pull up. So what? I guess like my next question would be why Bitcoin ordinals? Like what kind of was the click for that made you guys want to kind of explore that territory?
For me, it was like an immediate click. Like I discovered them in let's say February, and it was like, I mean, the value prop is obvious. When you inscribe onto a Satoshi, you create something permanent. And I think that's something that's been missing from a lot of most Ethereum collections. Like it always bothered me that, people spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for essentially a JPEG that's hosted somewhere else that could disappear hypothetically. I thought that didn't, from a collector standpoint, like, that didn't really make sense to me. So when I learned how ordinals work with inscribing, I mean, and then the fact that it's on Bitcoin, that it's like, the God chain, like to me, it was like a no-brainer. Like it literally took me a microsecond to be like, oh, that's going to be a thing. And even though it was kind of early for a lot of the space. And so I think what we did was, especially with inscription numbers being a thing, we wanted to make sure we showed the space that we had the foresight and intentions from the get-go. So that's why we inscribed our first 7 ordinals like back in March of 2023, and those are sitting at about 440K. I think if we moved faster, it would have been actually sub 100K. But at the end of the day, for me, it's like, as long as crypto's here, Bitcoin should be here. Like if something happens to Bitcoin, like we're all in big trouble. And so like, I think putting something permanent on the most important chain, I mean, it's an obvious value prop. To me, it's a no-brainer.
I love to hear it. Absolutely. It really shows me from a like bystander that you understand like what's going on. I felt like, not to take shots, especially not on like my official platform, but I felt like some other projects might have done like a Bitcoin ordinal project just to like extract that liquidity. And like it's like they never really gave 2 thoughts about it. It was just like, oh, well, there's volume there and people are going to buy it, so let me put something on there.
Yeah, I agree. And that was actually kind of one of our mission statements, is we want to lay the gauntlet down and kind of say, hey, like, we're really here to build, and we're here. I mean, we've been working on this launch for a year now, if you think about that. I mean, we've been building up to this moment. And for us, it's like, what I look at is who's building, and the people who are building on ordinals are awesome. Like they're really smart, they're really like pure, they like really are doing things for the sake of technology and building and pushing the chain forward. And I think those are the things that I look for. And also, like, right away I was like, oh, if we were to submit our work to a museum, it would be on a Satoshi, right? Like that's what would get passed around. And so not like a link hyperlink to a HTML file, like, so I think there's a lot of reasons, and we do want to avoid any of that type of liquidity draining events or cash grabby quote events, whatever, that sort of stuff. That's why even our collection is priced, I think, pretty fairly, to be honest. And to even that, even though we could use the funds, to be quite honest, like it would be nice if we could cash in, but I think if you're playing the long game, you have to sacrifice that for what's actually important, which is the technology and the community,
Is this page I have pulled up the best page of information that we can kind of view on the screen right now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I just know that was one of the last like recent updates that you guys posted. You're talking about your price and the amount. Is that in this article as well?
It's not in the article. Did we update it, Ben?
No, we haven't yet. We're debating when to put the price out, but technically Henry already leaked it because that's what Henry does.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I
That's why I kind of asked about it.
give the audience what they want, man. But no, but we are ready to talk about the price because we're not going to change it for better or worse. I think so. Its supply is 3,333. We're going to have a existing holder discounted price at 0.00777, and then the whitelist or the allow list pricing is 0.0098, and then the public sale pricing will be 0.016. So I feel like, I don't know, you guys tell me, but I feel like that's a pretty fair pricing, especially we came up with that pricing scheme like I think almost 2 months ago. So Bitcoin was even lower at that point. So
yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. We literally just got done with Quantum Cast. That was what was it? Witters 0.1? 0.1, I think. Yeah, and it's arrived. And then our ninjas were 0.03 for public, and they were 0.02 for pre-sale. I think
those projects can do that because you guys already have been in this space building the community. I think we've been more quiet, and so I think for us, especially because we're bridging people over from ETH, that's one of our missions. I think we just wanted to really signal to the space, like, okay, like we're not here for the cash. We're not here for your cash. You know, like we're here to build, and hopefully that reflects in the pricing. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Witters, were you going to say something?
No, like I think every project that's coming from ETH is going to have to like have some form of statement that's like that. And just as long as the intentions are very clear, as like you stated, and obviously like you can see throughout. I guess just like your time in Ordinals, it's very clear that it's not what. You know what I'm talking about.
What we don't want. We all know what we don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are minting the bad guys, though. This is the Fallen collection, which is different in certain ways. But
can you explain how that integrates with your current collection?
Yeah, basically, initially when the thesis around Ordinals was just art, straight up, like we believe in putting our art on chain. We want it to be permanent. Because our IP, our company is an IP based brand, and we are telling stories. We're really all about being a multi-chain storytelling platform, and our IP is going to be distributed all around the world. Like you're going to be able to buy a Uniforce comic at a bookstore right next to X-Men or Batman or Spider-Man. That's a very significant event for Web3, I believe. And so it's like if we're establishing like our Marvel universe, we're basically doing it on the blockchain first. So it's like we have the original 7,777, which was the ETH collection, the original ETH collection. They're kind of like the heroes of the journey, this canon. So if you want to take that journey, then you have that ETH. But we need an antagonist, so that's why we are dropping the Fallen, which are basically like dark Oni, like Oni that's kind of went to the dark side. And so it's a way for us to actually establish not just art, but actual like IP in our universe. So people will be purchasing the PFPs that can be used for IP development and can be submitted for the comic books and the webtoons and all the games and stuff that we're building. So there is an actual quote utility to it, and kind of a development path that goes with it. So it's like I like to use analogies like, if I had the Luke Skywalker PFP, right? And then I decided that he goes to the dark side, like full stop. Like, how would have that like fundamentally changed the entire Star Wars universe, right? Like that would be a totally different universe if like Luke Skywalker becomes the next Darth Vader, right? And so it's like, I think that's what excites me, is that we're giving that power to the hands of our holders, where they'll be able to actually decide what happens with these characters, and then that's what gets absorbed into our canon. So for me, it's like it's evolved past just art to functionality as well.
I love it. I love it. So I guess my next question, coming from Bitcoin ordinals for a while, are you going to use like recursion
Recursion?
to keep the
Yeah,
quality, or is it
we are.
going to be like DGods?
No,
Um,
no,
no.
quality. I think I think the quality is a really important part for us because again, we were the first like kind of high art PFP project in the space, and we do have those expectations to always like push the like the quality aspect. So we're I think they're going to be like about almost 4K the pixels, the images, and so we are definitely have to use recursion. And then that does create some really cool opportunities for us to do fun stuff and play with it in the future. So um, I don't sometimes I get into the real leaky part, so I'm gonna cut myself off. But we do have some really fun things planned with that for sure.
So SAT endpoints and whatnot, sounds like.
Yeah, we're looking
Yeah.
at everything. Yeah, we're definitely trying to play with all the tools in the toolbox within this time frame. And we're going to be doing more expansions in the future. So I think we'll have more opportunities to keep pushing the boundaries. You know.
I don't think I formally introduced you, but Henry, this is Eli. Henry's the CEO of Oniforce. Eli Herf is with Gamma. So your Ordinal project's actually going to be traded on Eli, the marketplace he works with.
Hey, let's go.
They will. Yeah.
I love
We can
that.
connect later. Yeah, for sure. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Eli,
let's definitely
does every collection have because one of my
So
favorite parts about Gamma is that it seems like every collection I care about, it has like a rarity checker built in. Is that like any collection that hits Gamma or what?
Yeah, so we obviously can integrate that, and that depends if the project wants that or not, or if they provide that. And obviously with ordinals, it's very unique. So collections, it's not like on ETH where collections belong to a smart contract, obviously. So they're not just like universally listed on marketplaces. Like we work with projects who want to be listed on Gamma and work hand in hand and do it with them. We don't just scrape them and pull them off other platforms and whatnot. So regardless of where Oniforce is actually launching, I was explaining this to a creator yesterday. They're like, oh, why isn't this collection with you? And we're like, well, we prefer to do it with projects who want to be listed with us and actually work with them and get to know them and develop that sort of rapport and relationship rather than just kind of like scraping collections and things like that. It's a very sort of like different mindset.
Yeah, that would be great to talk to you actually, because I know the rarity doesn't currently work the same way it does with ETH, but we are preserving our form of rarity internally in terms of like the traits, cataloging the traits, and to be honest, like we went bananas. Like we made so many we're still making traits. It's almost like a sickness, but like we have so many traits that we could do like a 20K collection if we wanted to. And so kind of a byproduct of that is like if you went by like traditional rarity measurement like OpenSea, which is so rudimentary, everything's kind of rare. Like everything's going to be in like the 1 percentile almost, like every trait. And so we're looking at it more from like a complete set. It's like what is the rarity or ranking of like this combination of traits, right? Like because the other thing that we're doing is that I think people will like is that one thing I noticed with a lot of collections that are generated purely by algorithm is that there tends to be repetition, and then like you could see it like especially in the floors, or like a lot of times I'll look at something and there's like one thing that's kind of off, like maybe the background doesn't really match with like the clothing or those sort of things. And so what we're doing is like we're actually going to go in by hand and look at every single PFP and make sure that it's has a human touch, where we're looking at it from a color theory standpoint, from an IP standpoint. Like we're dividing the collection into sub collections in terms of different character like archetypes and stuff like that. And so I think that's where it can get pretty deep. So I'd love to pick your brain on that,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's really, really good to hear. I have my own personal project. I just saw Rocky wrote that. Birds of a Feather's my personal project. We did that there. And also Ninjas did that. I actually helped out because Trevor's a buddy of mine.
Nice.
Helped out.
I got kicked out of the council.
Their lead up. Yeah. Chris got booted. No. Chris was making the content, my man. But yeah, they were very, and Trevor was very specific around the fact that
Nope, I think you froze
Oh
out.
no, we lost him. Trevor probably just DDoSed him. Like he said too much. And just like got him
That
out
was
of
a
here.
dramatic pause.
Yeah, Trevor's good like that, man. He's like,
That was
you know, as
ridiculous.
soon as he said too
I was
much, he
hanging
just
on every
calls.
word. I was like, "Oh, what did Trevor do?"
We did do that though. We like it took us like a year to launch our collection as well, and we had curated traits. And yeah, the process was so long, but you know, it was definitely so worth it. And welcome back, Eli. You got, you know.
Yeah, something
You
happened.
said
Yeah, I
Trevor
think
was what?
Trevor was very particular around curating the whole collection. So there were like you said, there could have been thousands more, and he had 1,500, and each one was basically selected in to be one of the 1,500. So like rank 1,500, if you want to call it that, could easily be rank 1 in someone else's eyes. So I really respect that. I think you can tell when a collection has done that, and you can tell when they haven't. So yeah, it's good to hear that you're doing it. I think that like communicating that and even mentioning color theory, it's so important. You do see that in some sets. You're like, why are those traits together? Like that, you know, everything has to be PFP-able. I think PFPs are an art form when done really well. And you, yeah, it's clear that you know that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so I think, you know, what I learned about great projects, period, is like when people put the time into it, it just shows. You know what I mean? Like Pizza Ninjas. Like I have to admit, Pizza Ninjas was the one mint I was really upset about because he forced everybody to grind so hard. And I'm like, dude, I am working every day. I don't have time. I went and registered on the website. I'm like, I'm so low on the leaderboard. I'm like, I gotta go film myself eating pizza. I'm like, I don't even leave the house. Like, and I was like, literally like multiple days. I was like, oh, when am I gonna get some pizza? And then I'm like, wait, is that challenge over? And then I texted Tio. I'm like, bro, I can't keep up.
Oh, so you know Tio like decently well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
He's actually one of the first people that I connected with in the space. And then what happened was when we were in Korea we were staying at the same hotel. And so basically we just ran into each other multiple times, and I invited him to like our party and that sort of stuff. And he's just been like a good dude to talk to, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun to watch him build.
I spent last week with him, so yeah, he made me more bullish on Ordinals and everything going on. That's really cool.
Smart dude.
We did 0 favors, 0 influencers for the Pizza Ninjas, and some of that came back to bite us. But I mean, it's very decentralized, very like 1,300 holders out of 1,500 pieces.
Pretty good.
So you know, yeah, but. Yeah, it's exciting to be part of a process like that. I particularly am excited about this Oni Force. I don't have whitelist myself. I know there's like 10. I think we're collabing with 10 whitelists for ninjas. I'm a big fan of anime, and I own 0 anime. Bitcoin.
What? We gotta get you one, dude. What the heck?
I've been telling NFTs, and he's giving me a hard time, man.
He is.
You have to you got to make Chris grind. Don't just promise him a whitelist.
No. I'll be honest.
Make him work for it.
No, we are having difficulty because we're our collection we're trying not to over allocate where like people get pissed off because like they got a whitelist spot and then all of a sudden they can't mint for some reason. And so but why don't you talk to me after, because I have my own personal like list, and so
sure,
if you promise to not sell.
Yeah, I won't. I'll hold it.
Says Henry on the broadcast. Everyone DM Henry right now for your.
Yeah, I just screwed up. I shouldn't have said that out loud. But
I haven't watched anime in a couple years, but I just recently watched like a classic. It's called Paranora Agent. Have you guys ever watched that?
Oh yeah,
it's like super
that's
classic
really
anime. And it like got me like now I just want to go watch more now because I watched that last week.
Oh, that's good.
Very traditional style. But yeah, I also just feel like there's not a lot of anime competition on Bitcoin Ordinals either. Like I can't even like name one off the top of my head. I'm sure they're out there.
Ordinauts, shout out Ordinauts.
Okay.
I would give them the I would say Ordinauts gets the first anime PFP on Bitcoin nod. So
yeah, and Icoda show as well. So Ordinauts are amazing.
Yeah.
Icoda show is incredible. They were all hand done. Ordinauts are incredible. They were done with AI, but still incredible.
They're still great.
Gorgeous as well. And so early, like sub 8K, I think, their first inscription. So yeah, the team there, shout out 100%.
Yeah, shout out. They win for that one.
Yeah.
Are you?
And Ikoto is absolutely gorgeous by Zero, who's a Gamma partner artist, but also has her own project, and they're awesome. So look them up if you haven't, Chris.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Are you guys looking to have anybody represent at ETH Denver coming up at the end of the month?
Yeah, we definitely have. Actually, one of our Bobby, our community director, lives in Denver. So if you guys are going to be there, let's definitely link up and set up a dinner or something like that. That would be great.
I'll be there representing some pizza ninjas. I'm actually
Let's
going on my own
go.
accord, but I'm sure we're going to do because I think Tio is going to try to make it out too. I'm sure we're going to try to do something while we're there.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool.
So it's really exciting. Witter, is you going to try to make it up to ETH Denver? I know you're a Bitcoin maximalist now, so I know but there is some side events going on, some ordinal side events.
I would love to. I'm actually going to Denver in the summer to paint, so I can't go twice. I mean, I guess I can't go twice. So no, unfortunately, I won't be.
Oh dang.
We'll be there in spirit.
Yeah,
I
spirit.
will. You can. I will mail you a cutout of me, and you can just put that in our
Yeah.
Witters, you should do that. Like the stickers in your server. Just get these Witters cutouts and just put her in different places.
Exactly, with the AR.
That's right.
Well, we have two more projects I'd like to talk about. Flares is coming up. It's going to be mint on Gamma. I'd like Brett to introduce that in just a minute. That's by OXFAR. I'm sure Witters is pretty familiar with OXFAR by now. The artist behind Quantum Cats. Witters was a team captain for Quantum Cats. And then we have Floriforms, which I don't know a ton about, but I know that I just kind of started looking at their art today and I really like it. And that's coming tomorrow. And I want to talk about that. They're also a partner allocation with Ninja Alerts. Before we go on to either one of those, though, if there's any last things, NFTs or Henry, you'd like to say about your upcoming mint, any alpha information, anything we might not have missed, or if Eli or Witters have any following questions.
I mean, for me, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having us on. Genuinely appreciate that. And the mint is coming soon, so you got to pay attention. We do have opportunities for people to get allow list. Like for instance, if you sign up for our point system, just being signed up gets you in the raffle for that. Plus, we're doing contests and giveaways and stuff in the Discord. So you can just go to 0n1force.com and check it out. But other than that, I think just appreciate you giving us a shot. And I think I hope that the Ordinals community over time will see that, we're really here to support them. And so any projects, people, artists, creators, founders, feel free to reach out to me directly or anybody on the team. We really want to build for the future because I think the future is Bitcoin.
I love it, man. I love that you came tonight and you actually understood the importance of ordinals and that you guys have been planning this out since you said March, where it's 400 sub 400K. That gets me really excited because again, there's just been some shaky projects in the past and some things that were I don't know.
No,
it just
we're here to stay, and I agree. I know what you mean. I'm definitely not here to throw shade on anyone, but we definitely want to set an example, and also the art is awesome. I'm totally biased, but I think it's incredible, and that art would have gone to ETH. So the fact that we are putting it on Ordinals is us putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak. In the sense that a year's worth of development is going to the ordinal space, you know what I mean? So I think to me that's a huge signal that this is real,
And so when is mint? Are we just
it's
following
gonna be
along?
the beginning of March. Yeah, it's gonna be the beginning of March. So very soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers of pizza and
it's Valentine's Day here already. I know it's not for Witters and Chris, but happy Valentine's Day to all.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Sending love around the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Isn't every day Valentine's Day in Australia? I feel like everybody
every
just
day,
loves each other. Everybody's hugging.
Do exactly. My
when
wife
you're that
knows
close to death at all times, love is very important.
Exactly. There's snakes and kangaroos just out there. I got to sort of, get through them, and then I'm like, I love you to my wife, like I'm not dead yet.
Says goodbye to his
Not
wife
dead
and kids before leaving.
I like go for my swim and I dodge the crocs, and then I get out and I hug the person, and yeah, that's how we live here. That's how we live here. That's why we're so relaxed, because we're just like, what's the point in being stressed?
I like
There's
that.
We're almost good.
there's death at every turn. Like going to get your
Everywhere.
mail, you could die in
There's
Australia.
a goanna, if you know what that is, just in my bed. I have to
I don't know what that is, but I like its name.
it's like a Komodo
Witters
dragon.
has no issue of death at her doorstep. Witters is the predator. She's like walking around with her Glock to go check your mail.
Witters is dangerous. If she's painting a mural, stay out of her way.
Oh no.
Well,
Sorry that we went there. This is the Bitcoin banter show, so we do
this is
tend to
Bitcoin banter, so a
Yeah.
little less formal than the Ordinal show.
I
We
love
like to banter around.
But it is what I was going to say was it's good to see high quality projects come from ETH to Bitcoin and do it properly, and be like Henry, and I'm not sure the other person's name, sorry, behind the NFTs.
Yeah.
Ben, and come here and be transparent, be honest, and have integrity, and talk and show that you actually understand what you're doing, because I think that that's really key. You can tell when that doesn't happen. So yeah, really cool to see. It's really cool to see. Like you said, want to hear you throw shade. I think
I really appreciate that, and I'm definitely looking forward to talking to you more, because I think I would love to pick your brain about your marketplace and the rarity and all that stuff.
Sounds good. Hit me up.
All right.
There you go. If nothing else, got a connection tonight. Got some alpha. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard that, but if you just sign up for the point system, you have a chance to be able to mint the Bitcoin, or you have a chance to be able to mint their Ordinal. So definitely check the point system out. Gonna move on to the next topic. Henry, NFTs, feel free to stay, hang out if you want. If you got a dip, that's perfectly fine too. I know both of you are very busy. Either way is fine. We're gonna move on to OXFR's flares tonight. That's actually minting like right after. It's probably minting in like
25 minutes, really. 24
yeah.
minutes.
When I say minting, it's a Dutch auction. You want to talk a little bit about that, Eli? I'll go ahead and pull it
So
up.
it's a Dutch auction in the mint experience. So they're all pre-inscribed. However, they're going to start at 0.1, and then every 5 minutes they're going to come down by 0.005. But the price that you buy at is the price that you buy at. So essentially, it's first come, first served. So they might all go at the first price, and after every. I can just say someone just said, what's Henry's project called? It's Oni Force. So after every 5 minutes, it's going to come down by 0.005. You don't get a refund on the amount that you paid. So if you pay 0.1, that's what you pay, but it means that you're guaranteed it. I don't know if it's going to get past the first price decrease, given that there's only 512 of them, and for the quality of the art. And if you know, or you followed OXFAR, 0xFAR, we know that he's the artist for Quantum Cats, but he's Taproot Wizards. But if you have a look at as well, but this is his own stuff. And if you have a look at his pedigree and what he's already put out in the past, he really is like an OG crypto artist. And I know, I can't say obviously, but I know that he's said that these artworks are portals. And I know he's just got incredible plans. I've said it before, and I'm not just, saying it to blow smoke up anyone, it's proverbial, but he really is, I think, going to be one of the artists that we look back, it needs to load up. Your computer's going slow, just wait. But he's going to be one of the artists that I believe that we look back on when we study, this sort of digital renaissance, as one of the really integral and key artists that was part of it. I think he really is like a seminal artist, or a definitive artist, if you like, of this time. And I'm not just saying that because he's on our site or anything. I truly believe it. I believed it before I even knew we were launching him. I think that he's very special. He's very calculated. If you watch the video that he put out by Outland, who are kind of the project behind his mint, if you look at the video that he put out, it's incredible, just the depth and the level that he's put into this, and his understanding of art and the nuances, and just like his kind of range is amazing. I've been lucky enough to obviously like have calls with him and just kind of dealings with him. Udi's not just going to pick any artist to work with him in his Taproot Wizards team, and Far is like an incredible independent artist in his own right. So it's pretty special stuff.
Witters, I got to hear your thoughts as an artist and as somebody who's worked around the Taproot Wizards team.
Absolutely. Gosh, I I could not glaze far enough. I met him in Amsterdam. Absolutely, just like one of those really genuine humans, that you come across in your lifetime, and uh, he's just like it. He resonates just like purity, and but he's also funny, and I don't know. I honestly can't glaze him enough. But yeah. So exactly what you said. Udi's not going to just pick anyone, and if you know like Far's background, like his engineering background, and like what he's done in the past, everything makes sense. If you're just coming into Ordinals and you're learning about the Sotheby's auction or, the Cats Mint, and you don't know anything about Far, it's very hard to digest why anything. Well, none of this stuff makes any sense to me, at least. But you really have to get to know his previous work and also just Far in general. And like just speaking with him on Spaces, I co-hosted the Designing Quantum Cats with. So it was Far, Nullish, Ripcash, even though I wanted him to speak or them to speak, it wouldn't. And like Billy. And when you have all of those people in one space, you can kind of see the depth and you definitely need to go back and listen to Far, his journey, everything that has brought him to where he is now. And yeah, just well, that's not even just a Far. That's for all artists in general. Like knowing their journey and where they've been and where they're going is always important. But yeah, man, I love me some Far. That's for sure.
Are you
Yeah,
going to try to participate? And also, I guess 2 questions. One, Ninja actually asked, is there a need to increase fees on this?
Well, you really shouldn't need to, because
they're all
it should
gonna
go
sell
through at the
out.
fee rate, unless it's all at the first price. Then
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You want
If they
your
all sell
transaction to be
out,
confirmed first. Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's only
yeah, look,
500
if you look at
pieces.
yeah, it's not a big set really. Like 512, some people might think, but not for this. And there's actually some amazing clues in his description of the set. So if you go into gamma.io and then click into his collection, he's sort of put a few clues in the description. But yeah, you just have to look at his body of work. And again, it's kind of a little bit, not comparing the 2 artists whatsoever or the projects, they're very different. But if you look at OMB and how there are very specific kind of like narratives that flow through all of Tony's work, it's similar like with Far. Nothing is by accident. Nothing is just like random. Everything is very connected in his kind of like breadth of work and his body of work, going all the way back to what he has released on ETH. And I think that, that alone, I think if people do their research and have a look and really want to learn, you might love it aesthetically and that's enough for you. But for people who do like that there's more depth and narrative to it, it's super important. It's kind of like with Boozy and the work that he did for Ninjas. Like none of that was by accident. A lot of that goes back to, his skill set and what he's done in the past and things that he's learned about. And I'm sure Widders could tell the story of her, work as a muralist and a painter and a digital artist and whatnot as well. You learn and you adapt and you grow and you might evolve, but there's cohesion, and I think cohesion is what makes really quality artists.
Absolutely. And I don't know. So in Amsterdam, was anybody that's here in Amsterdam went to the Magic Eden OMB party?
I wish.
Okay. Yes.
Ayo.
I was
Let's
there. Ayo, what's
Let's
up?
go. So did you go into Far's room? So it was the mirror room with all of the so I think the projection came from the ceiling. It took me a minute to figure out where all the pretty lights and colors
I
were coming
missed
from.
that. I missed that.
Yeah,
Oh.
so like it was like the whole room, the floor and the ceiling included, were all mirrors. And the projection, I'm pretty sure it was coming from the ceiling, and I might have been a flare. Like it's very similar to like what the flares are now, which was being projected onto this like mirror surface. And I called it the mushy room because I don't feel like I have to explain why you would call a room a mushy room, but it was just like you lost your perception of space and time. Like the projections were coming from the floor and from the side, and that's why it took me so long to figure out where it was coming from, or if I was just seeing those things. But it was just one of those like really that experience that whole party was just wild in general, just seeing the OMBs so large, and feel like I need to like tag a building with my OMB just for, just to do it. But I won't. Anyway, the seeing like that installation there was one of those things that just absolutely blew my mind, and to experience an artist that you've like actually enjoyed and that you've seen in the space for a very long time, it connecting both of those things is just, it's on a different level, man. I don't know.
All right. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but are you going to try to go for the Dutch auction winners, or?
I am. So, and it's very soon. So we gotta.
Yeah, it's like literally like right when we can even conclude a little early. What is
15 minutes, I think.
15 minutes. Yeah. To kind of give time to prepare.
We got to be out in 15 anyway.
Okay, perfect.
That works out.
All eyes on this Dutch auction,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Do you have like a specific, as an artist, again, I don't, how does this even work? Are you bidding specifically on like a piece that you want? Are you bidding on just like?
No, so it's not auction's probably the wrong word. It's like a Dutch mint. So it's a mint.
Okay.
But the prices are going to work. So it's like it's a game of chicken, really. It's like, do you want to just buy it at the first price? They might all go there, or maybe there'll be some left at the next price. It's like, that's what a Dutch auction is technically like, but it's like a Dutch mint is probably the better way to think about it. You're not bidding, you're not getting like a refund. You're not sort of like paying a certain amount and then it gets to a certain amount and you might get more, like it did with Node Monks or anything. It's like the price that you pay is the price you get it at. Let's see what happens. I honestly can't see it going very deep. I think it's like going to go for, but that's a prediction. That's not, maybe it does. Maybe you get lucky.
Advice from Eli Herf. You heard it here
first.
Zero
financial advice whatsoever.
Well,
that is not what we do.
Will it show what
you won't know which one you get until they'll get transferred to you.
Until they get So that was my first question. And then the second question, as the Dutch auction, it's so hard for me to say those
Dutch mint. Let's call it a Dutch mint.
Dutch mint. So will you kind of have like,
you'll see how many are gone.
Okay, yeah. That's what I have a price in mind that I would enjoy. But again, I mean, after the Sotheby's thing, I don't feel like it's going to get to that price. So
you're not going to tell us so we can undercut your price and just like bid like 001.
I've been in this space for way too long to let y'all MFers front run me.
You just send it in private chat. I promise I won't know.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, like it's a tweet. Chris is over there like, this is my
for you guys. It's this is the price. Like 001 over. Heck yeah! So we got flares. We're excited about that. Coming up literally in like 12 minutes or less. Got to tackle the last one. It's more art, which is, I really enjoy art coming to Bitcoin. Like. And a lot of these art styles we talked about are very different. We obviously talked about Oniforce, which is very like anime style art. Pizza Ninjas, as always, the show is brought to you by Ninja Alerts. Love Boozy's work. We have a full like film, basically. I don't know what to call it, like short film on Boozy and his creation of the ninjas, and it's really, really cool. Like it's a very like detailed, informative film of how Boozy created all the traits and the ninjas. A lot of things he said there resonated with me as somebody who's not an artist in that aspect. Like he said things like digital art allows you to like take more risk, basically, because like you can kind of just like undo it. versus like traditional art. Like if you kind of make a mistake, it's more permanent. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Like being able to take risks, which I could see that being like vice versa too. I could see that like being even like stronger case for like regular art as well, because like the people that took the risk and paid off, you can see that as well. But yeah, whole film on Boozy. Got flares, low X far, and lastly we got fluoroforms coming tomorrow. Have you guys been keeping track with these?
I've seen it on the timeline, but I didn't get whitelist for anything. So sad.
Yeah, well, I think as he's Spanish, it would be pronounced Arto, not Harto, but people probably pronounce the H if you don't know that he is Spanish. But yeah, he's released some like very high quality generative sets. So yeah, it looks interesting. I think, you know, given that it's a Valentine's Day thing and flowers and its unique use of generative art directly on Bitcoin, so calling on like JavaScript libraries or P5, you know, different libraries. It's unique stuff. I think it's great that just in general that I know the OCN team put a couple of the JavaScript libraries on Bitcoin really early, which has allowed like a huge amount of what's the right word? A huge amount of experimentation on Bitcoin. I think that some artists do it really well and like really create unique things. I think people need to be careful that there are a lot of sites like CodePen and open processing and whatnot. If you're using those sites, it's okay because they're resources. But you really need to ensure that you're sort of like creating your own work and not just kind of copying and pasting code and changing parameters, which I've seen some people do, unfortunately. So, you know, because then you're putting it on chains, like you can't even get rid of it. It's kind of like I've seen people do that, and then even in the code, there's like the previous author's notes in the code, which they do on purpose for that reason. So my advice obviously is like, just, you know, those libraries are amazing. We've seen amazing stuff like the on-chain Monkeys Dimensions Mint, incredible. Like that work that they created, their own unique 3D rotating monkeys from that code, you can see that is, you know, unique independent works. They probably, you know, found code that helped them work. But yeah, I love it. I think generative art is gorgeous. I just think that, yeah, I guess like just like a note for artists and collectors is like, hey, let's use it well. And this Fluoroforms project clearly is, because look at that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, I really like it as well. And it's also free. So you can't really complain about the price. You're just paying for the fee. It's just different. I actually don't own a lot of like this style of art whatsoever, like period, but especially on Bitcoin. This is the artist right here.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, there's a bunch of really cool generative artists that we work with on Gamma as partner artists. So it's definitely around. Like Proper, who has his own site little platform called Singular, brings some really cool generative artists across. Like obviously Art Blocks is old school on ETH, and you know they kind of pioneered the movement. So yeah, I think that like being able to preserve it on Bitcoin is you know is incredible, and obviously it's a great playground for it because that's all right. You can play the music if you want. I was going to say it's a great playground for it. It's a great playground for it because let's watch on that time. It's a great playground for it because you're like with Bitcoin and file size and why any force, etc. is going to use recursion is file size is a premium, and you know, coded art is just code. It doesn't take a lot of, when I say just code, like it's, you know, it's incredible, but it doesn't take up as much space file size wise. So it's kind of like a nice use of block space if you're going to be putting art on Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually haven't watched this yet, but I always love like inside the looks of the artist, kind of like what they do. So
And
that's
the
something
video is done so well.
it is.
God,
It is.
like
Yeah.
I suck at this. This is like the one thing that I struggle with. I can't think of like camera angles and like to do like cool shit like that. Like no, I'm just really focusing very hard on creating, and to have like such a dope video like that, I am super jealous.
Yeah, very good set. Whoever did the editing knows what they're doing. They did the color grading
Yeah.
properly, really good angles.
Yes.
And using the camera.
Chris could change his name from Chris Coffee to Chris Content. He knows. Chris is a
I
good
know,
content
but
guy
I
as well.
don't do a lot of content like that. And my wife's actually a lot better at it because she actually like has a college degree.
Who needs to be
like,
welcome to Bitcoin
and,
as well?
convergent
She's
arts and media.
welcome to your wife to Ordinals as well. By the way, I saw that on Twitter.
Not
She's
yeah,
dipping her
yeah,
toes.
getting
She's
there,
dipping
yeah,
her toes.
dipping her toes in the water. But yeah, really exciting tomorrow. Mint tomorrow, completely free. You guys saw all the details just then. So there's your alpha. Can't go wrong with. It's also the marketing angle. Like one, they did the video really well. Two, I like the send flowers because it's like almost Valentine's Day, and it's like send flowers, aka like whitelist, and then they're dropping a flower-based collection on Valentine's Day. That's smart.
That's smart. That's
smart.
like that's some 5D level chess, for sure.
So you gentlemen know what to do. Send Witter some flowers tomorrow, and by that I mean Flora flowers.
Flora flowers.
I'm sure she will willingly accept some Flora flowers.
I send Witters her
drop
flowers
my
all the time.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. But with all that being said, 5 minutes till the flares drop. I think it's a good time to wrap up. NFTs, Henry, thank you guys so much for joining. You're always welcome to come back, give us some updates on your Ordinal project, on Oniforce in general, and what you guys are working on, what you're building, how Mint went. Matter of fact, that'd be great after Mint out if you guys can come back and
I would love to do that because to me the Mint is just the beginning of the party, so I think we should definitely talk. So yeah, let's set that up.
Heck yeah. Thanks so much. Witters, as always, my number one, always here every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Eli Herf, somewhat always here every other Thursday, every other Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern time with Gamma. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, definitely catch the flares. Florida tomorrow, Oniforce to be announced soon. But as far as whitelist goes, you got a lot of alpha on the show. Go back and watch it if you missed it. Like, share, do all those YouTube and Twitter things to broadcast this to as many people as possible. Every single Tuesday, 6:30